late. We're late. We're gonna kind of wait. You want to see if people are gonna jump in real quick?
That's fine, man.
We just gonna go ahead and go for it.
How's life been in your neck of the woods, man? I know you have some exciting stuff happen. You've been all over the world.
Yeah,
You just got back from what was it? Chicago,
Chicago,
Indiana.
Indianapolis, Vegas, everywhere. I'm from everywhere. I don't have time to do anything besides
Then you were
just.
in Disney World, weren't you, with Mickey
Yeah, I was in
Mouse?
Disney World too. Yep, sure was. Sure was. All right, so today we have a special guest, Tyler Santiago, owner of Santiago Sports Cards, and we're gonna talk cards. We're gonna talk nationals. We're gonna talk parallels. Today is gonna be a fun-filled day. We even gonna have and stay tuned for the best part of the show, the hot seat. We're gonna bring the fire to him, ask him a bunch of different questions. But before we go that deep, let's go and get it started.
What
What
up?
up? What up? What up? Oh, I'm sorry. You want to go?
No, hey, I was gonna tell you. As always, I love that intro. But I get sad every time I see that intro. Do you know why?
Is Jesse in it?
No, he's not in that one. But at the very beginning, there's a picture. There's a card that you're holding up. To Kobe Bryant, 96 Chrome, 95, no green.
Okay.
Where's
It
that
got
card
lost in the mail. That card's been through a lot of big roller coaster. Honestly, it's been through when I moved it. I think I moved it to like $3,000, and it got all the way up to like $6 or $8,000
Yeah,
with no green. I mean, it's probably a premium.
yeah, definitely a huge premium, man. It kind of gets you scratching your head a little bit about do I ship or not ship. I know that there's some services out there that'll pick up a card and drop it off for you. I don't
Uh
know. I've
huh.
never looked at the prices on that, man. But my dude from Philippines, he actually had a package sent from Ship My Cards to through FedEx to the Philippines, and it got lost. Right?
Mm.
He was fighting to find it, and they finally unearthed it. It got scanned, and then they found it miraculously. I think probably somebody had it in their backpack and eventually brought it back, but he found them all. Some exquisite 101s in there, man. So definitely something that will make you scratch your head a little bit and have to get away from the hobby from a little for a while.
I know, man. I know it's crazy, right? Well, I mean, that's kind of how the game goes nowadays, man. Unfortunately, we got to deal with this thing called the mail, and things get lost.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you have insurance, right? So that's what that stuff is there for. So today we got a few different topics today. We're gonna cover parallels in the hobbies. Basically, talk about the pros and the cons of parallels. We also going to talk about the expectations of what the Nationals are going to bring, and then what was the other one again? I feel like what did I say? Oh, trades, and why trades are important. And I think you'll probably end up seeing trades probably at an all-time high this year period as the market continues to change. So we'll talk about that. We're gonna bring on we got a special guest, Tyler Santiago. We'll talk to him and see find out who this guy is, how long he's been a hobby, stuff like that. I met him probably like 2 years ago. It was probably the first time I ever interacted with him in Dallas. And did you ever met him before?
I've met him. I through passing, man. He always has a pretty diverse cards available for sale. He travels
Okay.
to a lot of shows, so I'm excited to have him on and ask him some questions, man. Definitely get him on the hot seat.
Okay, cool. For the people that are actually watching and listening right now, I'm not sure. Are you freezing? It looks like your screen is freezing.
I hope not.
Can you see yourself? Are you moving?
Yeah, I'm moving, man.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All right, so if anybody's out there, make sure you guys chime in, jump in, and ask any questions. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and bring on Tyler. What's going on, Tyler? How you doing?
Yo, what's going on, guys? How are you doing?
Good, man. We're good, good, good. Welcome to the show, man. First time ever.
Yeah, thanks for. Of
Tyler Santiago, man. I mean, I appreciate you coming in and chiming in.
course. Yeah, I mean, after a half hour trying to get on here, feels good to be here.
It's like a
Yeah,
damn
man.
job trying to get on sometimes, man. I know early on when we first started off with the podcast, I would do it from my phone, and every 5 minutes I would get a text or a phone call, and it knocked me off, and the microphone would go off, and the picture would get distorted. So yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster ride at times.
I know.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. I mean, that's why usually most of the time when I do the show, I try to get people to jump on at least 30 minutes before the show because sometimes our glitches and these things that happen, I mean, they happen, man. But without further ado, we definitely want to talk about some of these topics. But before we do that, though, I want to kind of talk about you and like, how did you get into the hobby? How did you get into the hobby? Just talk about that. Start off with.
So I got into the hobby thanks to my dad. His name's Tony. He used to take me and my brother Casey, who's also cards. His Instagram's Casey and Cards. He works at the shop here and all that. But we're twins. Same age, obviously. We're not. We don't look exactly like. We're not fraternal. We could tell we're brothers. But he used to push us. So was my dad. He's been in a card since he was a kid. His whole thing growing up was Reds. He was a big Reds fan. Loved Johnny Bench. So Pops is like his favorite set of all time. And from that, he just always tell us about, the Reds opening. He still has OG 72 top Johnny Bench that he pulled in the pack. And, he always kept in touch with it. He almost bought a store at one point in the 90s. It would be kind of dope if he did. I don't even know if I'd be here.
Wow.
But he would push us around the show. He'd give us a few bucks, and like $5, sometimes 20 if we were good, to go buy whatever we wanted. And me and my brother would basically just look through the 10-cent boxes and just buy cards we know we could or whatever. So for the most part, that's pretty much how I started in cards. And then I've loved it since I was a kid, never got away from it, stayed with it. And then, here I am today.
Dope, man. Well, congratulations on your success. I know you've opened up a couple shops so far in the last 6 months. What is this, shop number 3 or 4?
So there's 2 shops. One moved down the road. That's where I'm at now. So 5 minutes down the road from an 860 square foot spot to this spot, which is about 2,000. So I, did more than double. I'm in my own office. I didn't have that there. I got my employees breaking in the break room across my office. I just shot my podcast out there. I got a whole couch area. I got a back room. I got storage. I didn't have any of that. So this shop's in Matawan, New Jersey, about an hour and 20 minutes from where the National is this year. So I love it. I love having home field advantage. AC, I'm there all the time. My other shop is in Collingwood, New Jersey, just outside Philly, a little closer to the National, about 45 minutes from where it's at. So, I mean, that's where I'm at right now. Third shop is my goal. That one day, I'm not sure. I was teaching one in the American Dream Mall, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Man.
hey, man, but major kudos, man. I don't know if we've actually met face to face, like physically. I know I was trying to buy a pink 2 off of you one time, and I was trying to haggle the price on with you a little bit, man. But I've seen your presence on Instagram. I see what you post from time to time, and the number one thing that I enjoy the most is that you keep it a buck, right? You keep it real all the time. You don't shy away from controversy. Usually have something to say about each and everything that will happen, good or bad. And the only thing I can say is I can only respect you even more for doing that, man. So I know when you post up your event when you switch from one shop to the other shop, and you had a big old party to celebrate that, man. I know I threw a couple likes, a couple thumbs up, and even jumped into a couple of your lives, and you try to support as much as I can, and jump into a couple breaks.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Life is about doing what you love and having fun, man. I'd love to go to a show and just do nothing but cards, but I'm at a point where I sacrifice. I'm 24, so I sacrificed like my college years. I was working, I'm saving up my money. I went to like one or two. I went to Rutgers, a huge party school. I partied like once or twice at Rutgers, and I worked full time. I did cards full time, school full time. I had a good GPA. I made my money. I stacked up. So once like the opportunity to have a store came on, like, all right, shit, I got money. Like, not like I got money to spend and I'm free. I could do what I want. I don't have to listen to anyone. After I worked at a pizzeria, like, all right, I don't want to work for man. I want to be. That's always the goal. I don't want to have to answer to anyone. So I got to do what I wanted. I'm doing well, thank God. You know, I'm blessed for my family, for everyone that supports me, and I'm just excited to be where I'm living life, and I'm doing what a 24-year-old would do, man. I don't know what else to expect from me. People are like,
That's
oh, well,
it.
why do you go out? I'm like, dude, you expect me to go home and read on a Friday night? No shot.
That's dope, man. Well, again, like Mark said, man, kudos to you, man, much on your success. I don't think I even knew you were 24 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy being in this hobby, and like I don't really know, like, because nobody walks around with the age on their forehead, or you know what I'm saying. So people assume everything, right? Because everybody, in this hobby, one thing we can probably already kind of agree is it teaches a lot of business ethic, work ethic, a lot of different things that kind of go over people's heads, and we just kind of assume people are if they taking care of business, that they just are more mature than maybe the average person. So I mean, for somebody to be on store number 2 and then potentially doing your third one, man, again, congrats on that and your success. I'm still trying to get store number 1. I can't get store number 1. So you got store number 2 and number 3 coming. I mean, man, kudos to you, bro. That's big business, and congrats.
I appreciate that. I'd love to see you open a store, man. It's it takes a lot out of you. Like it's more than people think. Like, open up a store. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
See, man, there's a lot of stuff that people don't know go into it. But if anyone could do it, definitely be you. I don't really know of much in Atlanta. I know there's the one guy that sets up at your show, Triangle maybe, and there's like another guy that says he owns. I forget his name.
Yeah, the most popular ones is Breaking Bangers and Champion Sports Cards, and I think it's Got Baseball Cards. Those are like the popular 3. Dave Sports Cards, a new one. Cool guy. Yeah, Dave Sports Card. Yeah, he's another one. And then there's also Wasteland Gaming. I think they just added a card division. So I mean, the card market in Atlanta is definitely growing, and it's one of those things where we're trying to make expand. And maybe you never know. I might do something later on, man. But I don't know. Here's my thing, right? My ideal card shop for me is I want to be like Burbank, bro. I want to buy everything. I want people to be like, so like last week I just announced that I just started doing Prizm God consigns. It's like my first step to getting into a card shop. It's like I never really focused on low end stuff. People never see me post stuff that's under $1,000, right?
I said Alice, I remember, because you had a box of low end stuff. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so nobody sees me post any low end stuff. So guess what? For the people that are watching and listening, I started Prizm God Consigns on eBay, and I posted most of the stuff that I pulled, stuff that I bought and never graded, and just tired of sitting in the house, man. But I guess it's like my first step towards doing a shop, because I look at it like you got to be able to do everything when you're a shop, and that's a lot. I mean, so like I said, again, another kudos to you, because I feel like I have an idea what it takes. But more importantly, like, you got to have a good foundation, a good team. I mean, you got your brother, bro. That helps. I think you have your girl too. She probably helps, I'm assuming, as well. But
breaks.
You said what?
That she helps a lot. She has a card Instagram too, Bella Breaks.
Okay, there you go, Bella Breaks. Shout out to Bella Breaks. So, I mean, I know it's a lot that goes into it, but I remember, like I said, going back like a year and a half when I did Culture Collision. My wife told me, you gonna open up a shop or do Culture Collision? I'm like, I'll do Culture Collision because I don't know about a shop.
And shows, I don't realize how much goes into that. Like, obviously, it's a lot to deal with. You got to deal with a lot of people, a lot of and stuff. Like, kudos to you, bro.
No, I
was gonna ask you, now that you're a shop owner, and I don't know how big you were with, if you just buy to flip or if you have a personal collection, but being a shop owner, I mean, how do you kind of tread that line, if any, or is just everything for sale?
So that's like all PC, dude. I usually bring the same cards to like all the bigger shows because I don't want to travel with a lot. Bring like my one briefcase, but dude, I have so much stuff that I don't look at for like months at a time, sometimes even a year. Like all these boxes, anything from shit, I mean, $5 to $2-3 grand that I just keep. I throw away. I buy so much stuff to keep, and I've kind of found myself at a point where I need to stop a little bit and be more selective in what I actually want to keep, because some of the stuff that I keep I could sell and put it back into business. So I've been more selective with that. But I collect Detroit. I'm a big Detroit guy. All the Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons. I'm more so focused on my guy Corey Schlesinger back here. He was the fullback for the Lions from 95 to 2006. I actually filmed the video. I flew out from Vegas. I saw Raphael out there. Flew from Vegas to Detroit, and I got to go meet him, and I got like 120 items signed. Filmed the whole video with him. I mean, that's like crazy, like in the hobby.
Yeah.
So
That's dope, man.
Why Detroit? I mean, they haven't won anything in a while. So how did you get on Detroit, if you don't mind me asking?
I grew up on 8 Mile. I lived in a trailer park with my mom, and I had my friend Cheddar Bob kind of got me into, loving all Detroit and stuff.
I'm like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, you know how many people I get with that? I swear, I give them. No, but seriously, I love Detroit because my dad's an all Cincinnati fan, and at one point they had all 4 major sports teams. They had the Cincinnati Stingers, who Mark Messier played for. They had the Cincinnati Royals, who Oscar Robertson played for. Bengals and Reds, who obviously have been around. So when I was younger, it must have been like early, like 2002, maybe 2003. The Bengals are playing the Lions on TV, and I just like the color blue. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna mess around with my dad, and I'm gonna start rooting for them. And he thought I liked them as like as the years went on, started buying me Detroit stuff, and I just went all Detroit based on liking the Lions because I like the color blue, and the Lions sucked, man. I mean, they were bad. I picked the pain and misery, but I literally would wear Lions like jerseys to school, and we were 0-16. I had no shame. I love
crazy.
Yep, I love Detroit.
So how did you feel? How did you feel about Stafford going over to the Rams and getting a ring?
It hurt when we traded him, but I knew it was like best for him because we weren't going in the right direction for him. We weren't getting any younger, and we didn't have any get better that year. But dude, I posted a video. I was at the bar watching it. I went nuts when he won. I was talking shit the entire game at the bar. A lot of people are just rooting for Joey Burrow, the younger guy in the Bengals. Nobody in New Jersey could care less about either of those teams for the most part.
Yeah,
so I went nuts. People were like, "Oh, like they thought I was drunk." I'm like, "Dude, I was sober as ever." I was happy. That was my guy. Like I was so happy because that dude gave everything to Detroit. We couldn't do it. So
where do you? And I know we got to get into our 3 topics, but just one more question before we slide into there. But where do you rank Megatron in your upper echelon of receivers of all time?
Jerry Rice is a GOAT, no debate. I go Megatron over Moss a little bit, but then Moss. So that's my top 3. I think you can interchange Moss or Megatron. I hate hearing the Larry Fitzgerald. He's great. He's top 5, not better than Megatron.
I agree.
You're telling me you want someone on the field, Fitz or Megatron? Come on, Megatron.
Megatron's better.
T.O. They're like, oh, T.O. I'm like, dude was a cancer to his team everywhere he played. I don't want to hear it. Great receiver, don't get me wrong. And the other person in the discussion, I feel like, I mean, that's top 5 for the most part. Chris Carter, you could throw up there, maybe.
Respect.
That to me, that's about it. But Megatron 2, 3.
Yeah, I like some of the new guys coming up. They kind of remind me of the Megatrons, like the Metcalfs, and then you see Chase now. What he's doing with Cincinnati, and it's good to see that young flavor back, and it kind of brings back the the old school flavor that you used to see with those guys when they used to ball out.
I do want to say one thing though. People are like, Megatron only played 9 years. I'm like, dude, these guys wish they could play 9 years and put up the numbers that he did. The way it is now. Receivers aren't lasting 9 years, bro.
That's true.
they don't want to pay anyone anymore.
Nope.
The players are in the owners are greedy and stuff. But I'm thinking like, dude, if DK Metcalf his last year, I think he only had 800 yards.
Yeah,
but
he
if
didn't have that many.
4 or 5 seasons like Megatron did, I think the new standard is like, all right, 5 good seasons like that, Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, the standards for Hall of Fame is going to be way different, 10 years from now.
I think if they would have called that catch a touchdown, he would have played another 6 seasons.
You to watch the NFL, like Life in the whatever it is, those NFL Network ones, Life in the NFL or whatever, Football Life. That's what I was so sad. Like, dude to just not have not that his heart wasn't there. It definitely wasn't 100%, but his body was so banged up, and what he played through, like, you have no idea. It was absolutely insane. Like, I was like sad watching. I'm like, damn, this guy really did that for Detroit. That's why I love him. Great.
Well, I ain't say much about it, but I'm a Bears fan. I'm from Chicago. But the twist to that, though, is I grew up and I actually like Barry Sanders a lot. He was one of my favorite running backs outside of Walter Payton. I mean, those guys were like, honestly, I didn't watch a whole lot of Walter Payton, but Barry Sanders, man, I remember watching games and some of the things he did was amazing. He was a one-man show, didn't really need a whole lot, and was amazing. Megatron the same way. I think he's definitely a top 5 wide receiver. So I agree with you there. All right. I think you kind of went out. What did you say?
That Barry's the GOAT too, by the way. Don't get carried
away.
Oh
yeah, I definitely with you. I'm with you.
And I feel like that too. I got in an argument with a guy about the top running backs of all time, and his guy is Emmett, right? And he equates that to all of the highest. He's the number 1 rushing yards leader, right? Mm-hmm. But if you go back and you watch some of Emmett's old film, that dude was a monster, dude. I mean, he used to truck over people. I didn't really appreciate him, I guess, how good he was, because I hated the Cowboys. But if you go back and you see some of those vintage feels of him, he'll surprise you, man. I think Adrian Peterson. He used to run like Adrian Peterson back in the day. Dude, the dude was a monster, man. And he used to fight through a lot of injuries too, and kind of make it through.
Yeah, absolutely right. All right, so without further ado, I know I want to kind of catch us up. And I ain't gonna lie to you, Tyler. It's so much I really want to say, because I just want to say this part. I'm gonna say this and then we can move on. Mm-hmm. Honestly, and this is where I felt like you were a little bit older than 24, is your conversation in reference to sports comes from an aspect of being like you're older, like in terms of like the stuff that you talk about in terms of that, like, talking about Megatron and Barry Sanders, and like, to me, you're a fan of the sport, a real fan of the sport, therefore becoming a real collector in this space. And so for that, I respect you a lot more. And I've always kind of seen that from you. You know what I mean? Like, you're just not in the space just to make money. You actually genuinely care about the space. And you love the sport too. So, and I think that's why I kind of, like I said, again, I respect what you've been doing. So
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I ain't gonna lie, that's what made me. And then you wear vintage, so I was just like, man, he got to be older than 24 years old. I was like, he's wearing vintage Super Bowl tees, but I think it's kind of style, I guess. All right, so we want to kind of jump on some topics. I know you mentioned that you wanted to talk about the Nationals, so we're definitely going to talk about the Nationals. But before we talk about the Nationals, I actually want to bring up the topic of parallels in cards. All right. Parallels in cards. All right. I just wanted to go over some quick numbers with you guys. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. This is out of Prizm Football. There are 440 cards in current Prizm Football. So if you open up a hobby box, there's 440 versions of the cards that can be pulled out of that product. There are 109,560 249s, 99,225s, 87,560 199s, 77,000 number to 175s, 65,560 149s, 55,000 125s, 43,560 number to 99s, 33,000 number to 75s, and 26,400 number to 60, 21,560 number to 49s, 11,000 number to 25s, 6,600 number to 15s, 4,400 number to 10s, and 2,200 number to 5s, and 440 101s.
Damn.
And
A
that's
total
just
base
Prizm.
count, including parallels, is 642,840.
That's
How do you
wild.
feel about that?
I mean, it's I feel like every year there's new parallels, and that's not even like retail or anything too.
Nope, it's hobby only.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot. I mean, I think they're over printing a little bit, and what's kind of sad about it is all these products are coming out like how late? Like, I mean, you're talking about the draft this year. Prizm is coming out after 2021. Prizm is coming out after the 2022 NFL draft.
Yep.
That's nuts, bro. Like, I get it. COVID, supply chain shortage, people not being able to work, all that stuff. I get it. It happens, but at what point you're like, all right, we got to eat it and like catch up,
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I think about.
So the PSA approach, huh? Just eat it and just catch up, huh? Don't put out any more product until you catch up.
I don't know about no more product, but like specific products that aren't as much of a moneymaker to them. Or, I mean, bro, Panini makes what, about 40, 45 football products?
Yeah.
If you got to eat if you got to eat a couple of them to get caught up on other stuff to make sure release schedules and like timing actually makes sense,
Yep.
then yeah, I feel like collectors would be a little more happy about that,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, Mark, but I was gonna say it was a dark period probably within the last like 6 months before Prizm and Flawless and National Treasure just came out that we didn't have any product at all. Like,
Yep.
I felt like we had maybe like a 90-day period where no product came out at all. Because I remember how long has it been since any quality retails came out?
A while.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like we've been waiting for product for a while, and that's unfortunate. But just sticking with the topic of parallels, I mean, like, are you a big fan of it, Mark? I mean, what's going on?
I mean, I've been in the hobby for a long time, right? And I remember when the parallel started to get introduced. And you used to see it back when there was one parallel, right? You used to have a refractor, and that was it. There wasn't anything else outside of that. I think Ultra used to do a gold, and they did a platinum, right?
Correct.
And then EX2000 did a credentials, and I'm talking about '96 because that's when I got into the hobby, and that's all I knew. And so now you're seeing how many different parallels was it? I mean, it sounded like it was like 50 different parallels for one card. And so now it's just like, I think it takes the nostalgia out of opening a pack and pulling that player that you want. And I guess we're starting to see now that the golds are bringing a heavy premium. The gold vinyls are bringing a heavy premium because they're numbered, right? They're numbered and they're low numbered. And so I think that's what we're going to start to see. You'll see where the blue ice used to traditionally sell for a lot of money. Who even knows what it's numbered to today? I think I saw a purple ice the other day when they first came out with it. It used to be numbered to like 75, and now it's 225. So you can't even keep up with what a parallel is even numbered to. So I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. I mean, obviously you're gonna like the no number stuff, but to open up a pack and pull a card and you have like 8 different parallels of it, I mean it's kind of sad and disappointing. And then on top of that, the way that they spread it out, I think I got into a break the other day, got Pittsburgh, and I think I pulled 5 different variations of James Harrison, and it was like I was trying to complete the rainbow, and they all came out of one box, right?
Man.
So 5 different parallels of the same player. And I mean, no respect to James Harrison, but he's not going to set any eBay records, with sales. So it's not like I'm going to get any money out of it, but they're meeting their quota on how many Prizms are going to come in the box.
So Tyler, all right. So before I ask you a question, Tyler, I want to say something. Back in the day, now, because I'm going to be biased a little bit, I'm going to go the opposite of what you're saying, Mark, real quick, because I'm going to talk about the fact that I feel like parallels are kind of a necessity. Back in the day when we were dealing with the junk era, right? Everybody opens up a packet card. Everybody pulls the exact same card. Now, there was no nostalgia in that. Now you have some type of nostalgia oh man, I pulled a card number to 15, or I pulled a card number to 10, or I pulled a 101. After a while, right? Because here's the thing. Can we all agree that the hobby has grown since the 90s?
Yeah.
All right, so we can agree that the hobby is grown since the 90s. So if the hobby has grown, then you have to kind of expand parallels to kind of offset, how the hobby's going. Now a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit of kind of greed, because I feel like I don't agree with the prices on how go ahead. What you gonna say something?
I agree, like to a certain extent, like, yeah, make more parallels, but I think what they should have done is, all right, so you go back to mid 2000s Topps, or even let's talk about 92 Topps baseball, right?
Yeah.
It's like a 700 card set. All right, 700 different players.
Yeah.
You said Prizm 440, right? All right, so that's the checklist. That's, a little more than half of what it used to be back in the day.
That's
so
true.
I feel like they're missing an opportunity with getting more players in there, because, dude, I mean, they were for 92 Topps baseball or football. I mean, bro, the punters had cards, kickers had cards, long snappers had cards, guards had cards. You see very little of that.
The coaches
in there. But I mean, bro, they have the NFLPA license, they have the NFL license, they can make uniform cards, license cards of them. So why not put the extra players in there and stuff like that? Then you don't have to have the watered down parallels. You just have more players.
That's correct.
Bit for each team. I feel like that's a good offset for that as well.
So you're taking a different approach too. You're like, all right, well, there's an opportunity for more players to be added. So instead of coming up with new parallels, we add more players to offset more parallels, which will give them more cards anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, when we talk about these parallels, right? Like, the only ones people really care about are the household ones. Like, when you're dealing with Prizm, it's everybody wants gold or cracked ice or blue ice, whatever it's called. And then Prizm Black, and there's a few other colors out there that people are really big on.
In color.
But what you thinking, Mark? You're kind of quiet over there.
Well, I mean, I come from the day and age, right, where I know y'all were talking about a 700, player set, and now it's 440. But I came from a guy who brought me into the hobby, and he used to pull a base card of a superstar, right, maybe a Mike Trout at the time, or whatever have you, and he's sleeving it and he's putting in a top loader, right. And I know that if we expand, the print run or the checklist to 700. I've seen breakers literally, right? And I got into a lot of Bowman breaks, and all the cards off the top, all the paper ones that are on the top of the pack, they literally scraped up and threw them away, right? So now it's just like card stock on there. So it's just a wasted space. It's almost like that product could be just the chrome in the middle and nothing else, and it would still sell. And so now you're just filling it up with all this other junk, right? With what other people are saying. So what point does it make at that? There's set chasers out there, and there's only so many sets that you're going to be able to put together. But I mean, at what point is it too much?
Well, cut back. You have to cut back on the parallels and then cut back on the overall production of the cards to make sure you're still producing enough but not overproducing. You don't want another junk era, like, overproduction where it's just nothing but base. But the parallels and an expanded checklist together, that's something that would make sense, because get rid of some parallels, less parallels because there's more players in the checklist. I feel like that kind of balances out a little bit. But yeah, I get it. Base isn't really like that, but that brings it back to the fact of all these even products in the mid 2000s. A product that I think about, my guy Corey Schlesinger is in top 2006 Topps Total Football, which was a 990 card set. Now on those cards they had triple cards, so there'd be 3 panels or 2 panels or 1 panel. So you're talking about a checklist that realistically probably had about 13 or 1400 different players. So there's different ways to do all that stuff, and give homage back to like what I grew up with. It's, I don't know, there's so many different ways, but bringing both down, expanding the checklist and diminishing the parallels to balance out the total print run, I think helps overall. And collectability, like if I'm just talking about, forget the money, I get it. The breakers don't want to see that shit, but the collectability is there, and that's what this whole thing was based off of, this whole hobby.
Yeah.
Man, we over here solving problems for these companies. Golly.
Well, it'll be interesting once it all goes over to Fanatics, right? And how much consumer input they're going to have. Hopefully, they
time.
clear up the quality control of it all. And honestly, if I'm giving my honest opinion with Panini, I think that they short print their run by having a lot of quality control issued cards, right? And so by natural progression, your PSA 10's pop is going to be a lot lower because they just shelled out a lot of trash and junk in these packs, man. There shouldn't be a reason why you have half of one card on one pack on one side and
Brutal.
half of another card on the other side, and they're split right down the middle. Like that shouldn't happen. And it shouldn't end up in a pack. I mean, some of the stuff that they're doing nowadays, it's just like they're so quick to catch up rather than like Santiago said, taking a deep breath and then giving away from some of these products that came out of Chronicles and then grew legs, and now all of a sudden they're their own product line.
Or look,
They
look,
could have went back to just Chronicles, put all that stuff in one little jumbo pack, and then push some of the other stuff out a little quicker. I don't think we should be in a time where Select is going to come out after the draft and you already know who your XRCs are going to be. Like, I don't think that should happen.
Panini's different from Top. So if, I'm looking at it from like a Bowman Chrome perspective. Bowman Chrome has HTA, which is literally the 3 hits.
Yeah.
And then they have the Hobby, which is 1 hit with all the base cards and chances at the parallels. Panini's never really done anything like that. So if they were to do something like that, I feel like obviously the premium price point would be having that product where it's 10 cards, every card's a parallel numbered and all that. And then you still have the watered down version where you could pull, certain parallels and stuff like that and still pull the base. So I feel like that's something that they've never really tried and something that they can do to
That's a great idea. I'd love to buy a hobby box of Prizm where I opened up a hobby box yesterday and I gave away all the base cards to the kids.
I think they try to do that with Choice, though. Wouldn't you agree that the Choice product that comes out is kind of geared towards that?
Yeah, but there's Choice, No Huddle, Prizm Hobby, retail, all that shit. Bowman Chrome, HTA, and then they have different other like sub brands, but Bowman Chrome's literally Bowman Chrome and Hobby or Hobby and HTA.
Are you a fan of the lava and the shimmer and the speckle?
That's light. Well, light's another one. So there's 3. My bad. There's light too.
Yeah.
Light's different, but that's something where you don't have a chance in an auto. But if you want to pull these colors, and you're not guaranteed an auto, but you can pull one. So it's like a 20-box case. I think there's like 4 or 5 autos per case. So you got a 20% chance on these boxes. That's something where people go in knowing I'm not going to pull an auto, but I could pull this color and stuff. There's different things that pull you in.
Yeah. Are you a fan of the lava in Bowman?
It's all right. It's like the negative. Nothing crazy.
No, but I mean they have the red lava now, right? They have the red lava. They have like a fuchsia lava. I mean, there's
too many parallels.
Yeah,
there you go.
I mean, we're going through that. I mean, and I just started getting into Bowman like last year and started to see some of the variations. And somebody told me a long time ago, true colors are going to outlast everything else. And so you stick to the old school colors, the blues, the refractors, the golds, oranges, and reds. Those are always going to sell. And even you'll see sometimes where a lower number, like a yellow out of 75 in Bowman, right? You'll see a blue out of 150 outsell, the out of 75s, man. And I think that's the disheartening part. And we talk about it, me and him all the time, about National Treasures, where out of 99 outsells a midnight out of 20. Like, how does that happen, right? You would think that the rarer
supply and demand
is, the rarer a card is, though, you would think the more that it costs. And in a lot of cases, that's not the point. That's not the case anymore.
Not at all. It's definitely out there. All right, so let's kind of wrap this thing up, man, and make sure we're covering parallels. Is there any last take between you two on parallels? Is it something you guys like? Just wrap this up. What are y'all thinking?
There's a middle ground. I don't know. Yeah. They'll figure something out. Who knows?
Yeah, I just hope Fanatics has a lot of consumer input, man, on what they need to do. I think there's some different designs that they could, go back and look at some of the designs from the mid '90s, early 2000s. Maybe think inside that kind of box and see some of those designs, because nowadays we're seeing the same thing printed over and over. Hell, they're using the same photos at times over and over because they're getting too lazy. I think they should really take a futuristic approach like they used to and make some pretty cool cards. Although I did see a card out of Optic Contenders today. It's called Mirror Image, where they have two faces, like half of their face on it, and it's a pretty dope parallel or insert in that set.
All right, so our next topic we wanted to talk about is the upcoming Nationals Sports Collectors Convention, the 42nd annual Nationals, by the way. And it's kind of in your hometown, man. How you feel about that?
I love it. I don't have to drive 12 hours to Chicago. I drove 12 hours there last year. It's brutal. I did that a few years back too, and was there 2019. Only an hour and like 15, 20 minutes away, so that's beautiful. Get to bring the team with me. I'm probably gonna have to close for the week or most of the days because I want everyone to come, but some of them also can't come, so we'll see. But I'm excited because I know it. A lot of the East Coast dealers will be there. It's very much easier for them to get there than in Chicago. Chicago's still technically like East Coast, Midwest, whatever. But
yeah,
I'm excited just because it's so close to home. I don't have to worry about much. If I forget something, I'll come back. I don't have to. I could buy as much as I want. Like
driving home. Worry.
Dude, my car was so packed driving home last year. It was bad. But
wow. How many venues does a national host their convention at?
So right now they have it announced until Chicago's the next 2 years or whatever. So after this one, they'll announce, I think, 2 more years after that. I think they announce the next 2 after every year. But what people don't know is this. A lot of people don't know. People who are like in the loop with the national know, but like this is definitely, I can guarantee 100% going to be the last one in AC because they know people don't want to travel too far out here, and they're trying to get in line with shows being closer to the airport because the closest airport is Philly, which is like 45-50 minutes, and then you got Newark, which is like 2 hours. It's just an Uber. It's an easy drive, but it's a lot to take in. So AC won't happen again. It's going to come back to Cleveland eventually. The IX Center closed, but they're reopening back up. In my opinion, that is the best venue for the National. Cleveland sucks. There's nothing to do in Cleveland. Everyone knows that. There's nothing to do there. LeBron, all the good guys left. They have decent sports teams, but like Cleveland sucks.
The casino sucks too.
Dude, there's like one nice strip in Cleveland, and that's it. No offense to Cleveland, but like people in Cleveland also know that. They want to go back West Coast, but it's hard because this is what people don't know for sure. I know a lot of people don't know. The National needs to book out 3 years in advance. They need 3 years to plan, 3 years for all that. Now, the last time was on the West Coast was in Anaheim in like 01 or 03, something like that.
Yeah.
And they also are scared because it's East Coast based that people aren't going to want to go out to
come to California.
It's also expensive. I mean, East Coast is definitely, nothing's cheap anymore with, just whatever is going on. But out West is even more expensive. So they're afraid people won't go out there. They can't find a venue that'll book 3 years out. I mean, for example, Lil Baby's going on tour. He announces a tour 6 months, usually. It's like 6 months they'll announce a tour. They have that venue booked. The National can't do that. They need it planned out. They need certain stuff in line. And that's what people don't understand. So if you're like, oh, why doesn't it come to the West Coast? I don't know, man. Find a big enough spot to host it. It's tough.
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna chime in a little bit. I know somebody just asked a couple questions. Will we all be attending the Nationals? My answer is a quick yes.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler's coming. Kobe Collector go to shows. He's retired.
Look, I know it's 5,000 tables, right? Or something like that to that effect. It's a lot of tables. It's a lot of cards. Obviously, if it exists, more than likely it'll show up there. I'm excited about, going to the ones in Chicago just because I'm more go to hang out with, friends and family. When I travel to some of these events, I'm excited about Culture Collision, probably more than the National. But for me, it's just like I always like to hear the stories that come out of the Nationals. I've personally have never attended them, but everything that I hear, it's a spectra, and you have to do it at least once.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's definitely a vibe. Nationals will always be the Nationals, man. At the end of the day, they bring some of the biggest collectors across the world, and they also bring a very vast variety of cards. I mean, you see the biggest cards in the world, you see the lowest, cheapest cards in the world. So I mean, it's good, I think, for everybody. I'll be attending. I'll probably be set up on a booth, some nice cards. I'm bringing some stuff I have posted and stuff I have not posted on social media, and hopefully continue to push the brand. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it more than anything. Now, there's the third topic for the show, right? And I kind of want to. I feel like before we pivot too far over, I want to talk about some of the things because right now we're in a kind of like a weird market space right now. Like, how do you guys feel with how the market is changing to what we should be expecting at the Nationals? How do you think things will be at the Nationals? And then we'll kind of pivot a little bit into this third topic.
I just talked about this too. I think the market corrected itself, and like some of the stuff shouldn't have been selling what it was selling for. A lot of the big money's out. Like we could be going into. I mean, this is basically a recession to some extent. I mean, it's kind of weird how it's working with houses going up, but everything else going up, but there being no money. I don't know. It's interesting to think, but I think AC is a very unique place because, dude, there's going to be people walking around who want nothing to do but make money to go gamble. There's going to be people that want to get rid of stuff to sell. And there's going to be people that just want to be there to buy, like with the market being down. I think there's good deals to be had on other outlets, but if you're looking to spend some money, the National is going to be the place. I feel like some people are a little scared. I'm not scared. I know what I'm into. My market, what I'm comfortable in is like the $100 to like $1,000 cards. I don't really see that shit going down, but the high end market that you're in, Raphael. Sometimes like I have stuff like that, but I try not to get into it because it's like harder to get out of. It's a more limited base as to who you can sell stuff to and make deals with.
I agree. Which actually pivots to the third aspect of the show. Let's see. Somebody made a comment a minute ago, and he says he went to the Nationals AC when it was canceled, met a lot of people stuck there, made friends, and was led to Santiago Sports. Shout out to BS 202078.
Yes.
And I think that was the year of the Dallas National, right? The quote unquote Dallas National, when it was supposed to be in AC that year, but they canceled it because of COVID or coming out of COVID.
Right.
Or
Oh,
something
sure
like that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so yeah. Look, man, I'm excited to hear. Like, I know that you post a lot of stuff, Santiago. And I don't know if you like Santiago or Tyler. I've been calling you Santiago the whole show, so I might as well keep up with it. But is there some stuff that like you don't normally take to shows that because it's in your backyard of in AC that you're probably going to bring to this show?
I stack up stuff like all year long. Like if it's stuff I know won't go down or I just want to hold, like I showed before, I'll throw it in a box. I'll look at it here and there. There's some stuff I know that I'm just gonna hold for the National, like certain like rare cards, numbered stuff, certain players. But yeah, obviously you want like local stuff. When I went to Atlanta Culture Collision, bringing Acuna, stuff along those lines. But yeah, I bring my cases are gonna look way different than they usually look because I know like what that's like the biggest show. If you got something rare, you got something you've been waiting to sell, that's the spot. I sold a lot of stuff last year that I was holding for the National. I was like, damn, I told myself it was gonna happen. But more importantly than bringing what to sell, you gotta be ready to buy. Especially in DC with the gamblers and everything. I'm telling you. Not every show I go to, I'll say it's like a 75-25 split. 75% of the shows I go to, I always spend more than I make because I know it's a centralized spot where people want to sell stuff, where people want to make deals, people want to trade. That's where you go to buy, man. Obviously, you want to go to sell too, but you got to take advantage of it because you never know. Always got to be ready.
I think I was listening to, I don't know if it was a breaker or someone on Instagram one day, and they always say the true measure of success of a show isn't how much you make, rather it's how much you spend, right? Because you know that everything that you buy into, you know the hobby enough that you're going to have enough room in it, so you're going to make more money off of what you spend, right? Whether that is 20%, 30%, or however whatever you're comfortable at buying, you're always going to make that much more. So if you spend, 20 grand, you might make 5 grand on that 20. So, and you might have only sold $3,000 worth of cards. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I think the true measure of a show is how much you spend rather than how much you sold.
And connections, networking, seeing friends and stuff like that. It's also important,
Yeah, honestly, the thing about the Nationals, and I'll take this take, is Cultural Collision. I learned a lot from Cultural Collision through the Nationals and all the shows that I've been to, and also a lot of my networks came from the Nationals, because a lot of times you don't get a chance to see the big players until you come to the Nationals. So it's a good place to be, to network and meet people. Like I was already invited to an eBay event that's happening on Friday night. That I think that it's a networking event that people have already started to kind of put information out there for the event. We're 30 days away, and this stuff hasn't even been announced yet. So as we continue to get closer to that date, we're gonna get more things are gonna be happening, and hopefully we'll add more trade nights. We got to get Tyler to go ahead and do a trade night for Nationals, man. But we'll figure that stuff out.
Yeah, I'm helping a little bit with Ryan and Jimmy, but that's about it. That's their own thing. I was like, shit, I'm local. I might as well help.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to move on because we'll speed up the process a little bit, because I know we're getting a little time behind us right now. And we get to kind of pivot up a little bit to trades, and more trades, which honestly, you mentioned it earlier, Tyler. Everybody's going to be buying, selling trades with the market being down. You asked a question about how I get into the big items and how I move them. You have to be open to trades. You have to be open to trades. You have to be open to the idea of getting the value that you're looking to get, to get out of the cards that you're going to take in. So it's definitely I think it's definitely a tricky situation to be in, but you have to be open to trades.
I agree. I'm not really like a big trader. I'm more of if I could just buy it, I buy it. I just, it depends, man. Me and you almost made a deal at one time, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna get rid of stuff that I don't really care if I get rid of or not, for something that I don't care if I get rid of it or not. It depends on how movable the card is for you, how long you've had the other stuff, but it depends, man. If I'm able to trade down into smaller stuff to help move something bigger, at this point, that's usually what I do. But honestly, I really just don't trade much. And the only way I usually do trade is if I get like a crazy value back on something that I don't really care if I move or not. And that's the whole point of I was saying before, capitalism, man. Supply and demand. I have a card you want. It's rare. You either give me my price or I don't. Don't go and complain about it. Like, comps aren't everything at the end of the day.
There you go. There you go. Say it again.
Time.
Comps are everything, guys.
No.
If it's a card numbered to 10 and it's sold on eBay for $3,000 and I own one and they're not on eBay, guess what? There's a new price.
Yep. Exactly. I try to tell people that all the time. People don't get it. And the comps 3 months ago, for example, Aaron Judge 3 months ago, beginning of the season, whatever, nobody really cared, too much about him. Prices went up through the roof. I had a guy come to the store. I have an Aaron Judge Topps Finest red refractor out of 5. I think I have like 450 on it. He goes, one sold for like 300. And then I looked at the date. I'm like, man, that's like 3 months ago. The guy's like an MVP candidate. Yep. It's numbered to 5. It's on card. Your logic here, it's out the window. I don't want to hear it. Like, you're right. I don't want to hear it. And I don't really like to negotiate too much in store. It's like, my whole thing is, you go to Walmart and ask for, a gallon of milk's $5. You want it for $4? No, don't work like that.
Bring in a coupon, man. You might have to come out with Santiago coupons for your store, man.
I actually do have coupon. I do. I ended up giving the guy $50 off. I was like, I'll do 400, but I'm not going lower than that, man. Like, it just doesn't make sense. With certain tangible, what's going on.
Do you think because the lane that you're in, where you say that you operate in that $100 to $1,000 like kind of price points, that it kind of augments you from wanting to, or your propensity to want to trade? And maybe if you were in that 10,000 to 20,000 price range, that your reluctances will kind of go out the window and probably be more susceptible to trading at that point.
I don't know. I just feel, I don't know. It depends, dude. Trust me. I would love nothing more than to sell everything and restart and buy nothing but like $5,000 cards and more. Trust me, I would love that. I'd love to have a collection of just 60 cards and walk around and travel to all the shows, and that's all I have on me. I could pack up my entire collection and go everywhere.
That's
I
how I
can't do
want
that.
to. I
I don't
basically
want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It's not fun to me. Like I'm sure it would be fun, but like, dude, I love the dollar Corey Schlesinger base card I had that I bought on ComC. But would I be like totally against buying a card that's $500 if all I have is $10,000 cards? Some people stay away from that. Like, oh, it's like beneath me. I'm not into that. I could never.
I would say it's beneath me at all.
No, not beneath. That's not what I mean. But like, people are like, oh, that's too low end for me.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I've known Raphael, and before this recession that we're in today, I think a lot of it with the trading goes into maybe he's had a card a little longer than what he anticipated, and missed a window, and so he was hoping to get a certain number, and so he came back around where he found a guy that he was prospecting, and thought that, okay, well, maybe if I gave up a little bit in this trade, that I was able to kind of take 3 steps forward after the fact, because that guy's going to blow up, and actually have the vision. And I think with your trading, Ralph, I think that's what's made you a lot more successful than others, because you have that vision, and okay to lose a couple bucks here and there to take 3 steps forward. So obviously, you know what you're doing. The cards that you have today kind of tell that story, how successful you've been. And like I said, sometimes a bigger card, a lot of people are real reluctant to shell out a lot of money, but are card rich, and so they're able to kind of trade 5 cards and get into that one big card. And some people, they like to trade down and become more liquid, right? Because not everybody's walking around with 50 grand at times to get into a card.
Yeah.
But maybe they have 4 or 5 $10,000 cards.
Bigger the card, smaller the market.
Yeah,
I 100% agree. 100% agree. That's definitely one of the things that I had to learn. Of course, in the beginning, is getting into the high market is less people that are involved.
There's a community. Like, I know the people. I don't know everyone, but like that community, there's a certain group of people who not recycle the same cards, but that's who you're going to talk to if you know someone that's on that level. That's who you gravitate towards. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Well, I told myself a long time ago when I met Mark, I was like, I want to be that guy that people hit me up and be like, man, I want to sell it to you. And through posting high-end cards, I kind of built myself up off that. So that's kind of one of the goals that I really had back in the day. But we're gonna kind of speed things up a little bit more, because again, I think we're running out of time. And we're gonna focus on our last topic. I know I didn't really talk to you about this, Santiago. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
It's for our infamous. Have you seen our hot seat before?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna bring you in on a hot seat.
Okay.
So with the hot seat,
not too bad.
It's very simple. You answer questions to the best of your ability, and it's nonstop.
All right.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with a couple questions to get you started, and answer to the best of your ability. Did you want to go ahead and go first, Mark?
Yeah, I honestly thought that, Santiago, you were in New York, but now that you're in New Jersey and you're a Detroit fan, I'm going to switch these top ones up on the fly. But I know we talked a little bit about the Lions. So for you, who is it? Would you prefer Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson?
Tough.
Already?
I've met Barry before, and he loves me. He loved that I love Detroit. He goes, I appreciate your love for like Detroit. So I'll go Barry because I met him. I'll meet Megatron one day.
All right. What's your favorite pickup of all time?
Where is it? I would say the Corey Schlesinger game used jersey on the wall right there that I got signed by him, and he confirmed. Yeah, he goes, yeah, that's my jersey. I wore that. I'll probably say that one.
All right.
Favorite box to break today?
Favorite box to break today?
Yeah.
New product or just
any overall in today's day? Yeah.
I'm going 2002. 2005 tops, because that's like the first product I started, not first product, but like the product that like got me into it like heavy, and I could pull a Rogers rookie.
Okay.
Have you ever been named a scammer?
Have I ever been named a scammer?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, people talk hella shit. Of course.
PSA or BGS?
PSA all the way, certified PSA dealer.
Who's your least favorite person you met in the hobby?
There's a lot of clowns out there.
Name one. Come on.
Least favorite person.
Nah.
I
Yes.
can I say like someone legit or no?
Say who you, man. This is the hot seat. Say the truth.
Alex,
say how you feel.
Alex Gaima, I love her to death, but she's annoying.
All right, there you go.
Giants or Jets?
I hate the Giants. I hate the Yankees. Jets. I can stand them.
Josh Luber helped or hurt the hobby?
He's bought shit from me before, so I don't think I mean I don't really know what he's done that's so good. He follows me and everything, so I'd say probably hurt more.
Lawrence or Jones?
Danny Dimes?
Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones? Sorry.
I'm just gonna go Mac as long as.
All right, Mike Trout, Scottie Pippen, Wayne Gretzky, and Allen Iverson. One has to go.
Wayne Gretzky, Mike Trout, Allen Iverson, and who?
Pippen.
Scottie Pippen.
Favorite vacation spot?
Detroit.
All right. What's the biggest day in sports car history for you?
Biggest day in sports card history for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of like monetarily wise, or like just like
that affected you?
When PSA shut down.
NT or Prizm?
I mean they're both overpriced, but I'll go NT because I just like that. I just like the product.
Okay, fill in the blank on this one. Upper Deck needs to what?
Upper Deck needs to start making their own products with actual Jordan LeBron autos, or sell out and have these companies make licensed LeBron, Tiger, Jordan, Ben Simmons, forget it, but all those guys, autos, patches.
Steak or burger?
Steak or burger? Steak all day.
All right. Who adds more value to the hobby, Ken Golden or Drake?
I mean, Ken Golden, nice guy. Been to the store. He was at the grand opening of the other store. I think now he's more of like a backseat role. So I would say in terms of like who could bring more exposure, I guess I'll just go tough.
All right, fair enough.
If you had a high-end card you were trying to sell today, Alt, Golden, or PWC? See.
Alt loses money left, right? No shot.
I
feel like I have a good relationship with PW. I don't have an account with any of them, just to be honest. But I don't use Alt, don't use Golden, don't use PWCC. I've done things with Golden before in terms of promoting. PWCC guys are very nice, very good people. PWCC I feel like runs a more efficient system. I'll go PWCC. They're more hands-on.
Got you. Name 4 of the best point guards of all time.
Isaiah Thomas.
I knew you were going to say Detroit guy.
Chauncey.
Not Joe Dumars? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead, let him finish.
And Chauncey, Steve Nash, you got to put up there. And I guess Jason Kidd is Tony Parker.
Tony Parker, okay.
Favorite card of all time?
2002, Clear Maximum. Corey Schlesinger, which I have blown up on my wall right here.
Oh, wow.
All right.
That is dope.
What adds more value to the hobby? V-Friends or Jackass, the movie cards?
Dude, V-Friends is a scam. It's a joke. jackass because it's actual something that you could be nostalgic of that actually has value in a fan base.
Killed it. What, you got anything else, Mark?
Nah, that was my 10th one, man.
There you go. Congratulations, Tyler. You survived the hot seat, man.
Hey, I'm sorry. I was listening to your point guards, man, and I was like, I knew he was gonna go Detroit, man. I knew it was gonna be Detroit. I'm surprised you kept Magic out of there, right?
I put Magic. I didn't think of him right away, but Magic, yeah.
All right, so this one guy hit me up on Instagram and asked a question. He wanted to know, I figured for the fans out there that are listening, they want to know, what is the most profitable item or service in the sports card shop since you own a shop?
You would think wax, but I'm not direct yet. I'm almost there. I would say, I guess singles, and then obviously wax is a big part of it. But right now, probably singles, and then once I'm direct, it 100% will be wax with direct pricing.
There you go. All right.
I know you mentioned that you were a certified PSA dealer, man, and I look at your postings that go up, and I know that for the lower levels, you only do in shop. Is that just to get more people, more traffic into your shop?
I changed that around, but it helps on the back end. I'm not like a Nash card, like a KK. I don't want to submit thousands of cards. I'm good with hundreds. I have a good relationship.
Man.
I don't want all that head. And I put a lot more on my team, and I'm totally cool with doing 400 or 500 cards a sub as opposed to they're doing it weekly. I do monthly, pretty much weekly. So if your cards aren't in by then, you can get in on the next one. That's how I like to do it. It's more of the old school approach. That's how it used to be. But these people, it's like a Nash AK, that's their main business now, and I don't want to put the time into it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a certified, I'm a dealer too, through PSA, so I know that struggle more and more. And like I said, I see all the content that you post up, and I all I can say, and I can tell you to your face, man, I appreciate it. And more than that, I think it's your realness and your honest approach to the topics in the hobby that I enjoy the most, and I look forward to every time you post your lives up, man. So keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate you coming on today. And doing this, and I'll hop into your shows and do some flips for. I think the other day I was doing. Me and another guy, we both bought one of your mystery packs, and we wore it. And I won a couple, and then I think he came over the top and won a couple over me, and actually had the highest card out of that, man. So really enjoy the products that you put out with those mystery packs and. The spin that you have on it, man. So, and just keep up with the contributing to the hobby, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I will see you.
Yeah, we really do appreciate you jumping on with us and giving us some time. I do want to say too, man, I appreciate the rawness of what you do. Like he went to Culture Collision, then he went online and bashed Culture Collision the next day. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that, but he basically, he kept it real. He kept it 100. And I definitely respect that. So
I want to say one thing on that. Someone was like attacking me. I'm like, dude, if he asked if I said, there's nothing I wouldn't have said to you directly. I mean, yeah. I'm like, I put up other ones, but I get so busy to a point. I'm like, shit, I don't got time for this. I don't edit it. I gotta find time to edit it, get the camera to someone, and all that stuff. But yeah, I love the show. Feel like everything we did. I mean, bro, there's always room for improvement. People don't get that.
Of course,
nothing's perfect ever. So
of course, 100% agree, man. So we do appreciate you jumping in and chiming in. And I guess anybody has any last words or any questions, feel free to throw them out there. But if not, good night.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Yep,
I appreciate it, and we're gonna play our record, and we out. Man, it was fun.
Nice.
Hey, that's it. Good night, man. Appreciate it.